Anthony James Donnelly again here. I'm the author of Michael and the Magic Hiccup. This is a proof that arrived in the mail today, and if you watched my last video you'd have had the first part of the story. Now I'm going to read another part of the story. The book will be available on Amazon middle of March, so not long to wait now. So if you haven't seen that video, watch it now. But just to bring you up to speed, Michael is a little garden gnome and he's getting very bored and wet, stood in the front garden of Mr. and Mrs. Poops, and he's hoping for some kind of adventure to start. So let's continue. Michael was bored, wet, cold and tired. Having been out in the cold rain for so long, the stupid goldfish had filled with water, which made his arms ache from holding the heavy fishing rod. Worst of all, Michael could feel himself coming down with a cold. He felt like just throwing down the rod and running away. Just then, he felt a strong need to sneeze. Ha ha ha. Oh, he hated that, when you could feel a sneeze coming, but it didn't. Ha ha ha. Hiccup. Michael couldn't believe it. He hadn't sneezed, but hiccuped. What was all that about? How very strange. Had he been out in the cold too long that his mind was playing tricks on him? Even the silly goldfish looked surprised that he hadn't sneezed. Then he got the feeling again. Ha, 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 hiccup. This time something very peculiar happened. When he opened his eyes, he noticed that the rain had finally stopped and the sun was pouring down on him instead. His wet clothes, drenched from the cold rain, now steamed in the warmth of the sunlight. As he looked around, he realised something even stranger had happened. He was no longer in the front garden of Mr. and Mrs. Poops. As Michael stood there looking around this new land, the goldfish started to wriggle and cough on the end of his fishing line. This was all getting stranger and stranger by the second. Eventually the goldfish managed to cough himself free from the fishing line and landed with a splosh upon the grass. Michael just looked in amazement. Oh, that's so much better, said the goldfish, clearing the water from his gills. What dreadful weather we've been having for the time of year. Excuse me, was all Michael managed to say, as he stared at the silly goldfish wriggling like a fat orange worm upon the green grass, his scales shining in the sunlight. Excuse you? What have you done? Nothing, replied Michael. Well, I don't think I've done anything. I just hiccuped. The goldfish stopped wriggling and looked up at Michael with his eye nearest to the gnome. You did what? Exclaimed the goldfish. I hiccuped. I was about to sneeze, but then I hiccuped instead, and now we've ended up here. Oh, that's great, that is. 1 minute I'm dangling from a fishing rod in the comfort of Mr. and Mrs. Poops' garden, the next I'm flapping about on the ground like a fish out of water. Now that's a fine state of affairs for a goldfish. Michael didn't like getting told off, especially not by a silly plastic goldfish. But before he could speak, a large breeze started to blow, and the sky went dark, very dark. Oh no, not more rain, coughed the goldfish. It didn't feel like rain, but it did sound like thunder. Michael looked up at the sky to see if he could spot any rain clouds. He had spent so much time outside staring up at the sky, he knew every type of cloud. As he looked up, he jumped back with fright. A huge, brightly coloured dragon was swooping down towards them. Michael crouched down with fright, clutching the fishing rod for protection. The dragon spotted the goldfish wriggling uncomfortably upon the grass and screamed with delight. Oh my, what have we here? Gold! Goody goody! She screeched as she swooped lower, holding out her talons to grasp the goldfish. In one huge glide, she plucked the poor fish up by the tail and began her flight back up into the sky. What the? Came the shocked response of the goldfish as he dangled precariously from the dragon's clutches. Oh no, cried Michael as he watched the dragon fly off with his fish. What on earth do I do now? You'll have to stay tuned to find out what happens. Where's the dragon taking the goldfish? What's going to happen to Michael in this strange land? Well, you can find out in the next bit I'll be reading, or you can buy Michael and the Magic Hiccup at Amazon in the middle of March this year. Alright, stay tuned, hope you're enjoying it, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye bye.